Hi, everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you WH equation transformation. So let's get started. So I'm going to start with the generative transformational grammar model, which is something like this. So we are done with the phrase structure rules and the lexicon, which are the two components of the syntactic component. So I am now going to move to the deep structure and surface structure, or the DS and SS. And you see here in between the DS and SS, we have transformation rules, or the so-called T rules. And the T rules that I'm going to show you here involve the do insertion, or I'm going to use DI for the abbreviation. Then there will be auxiliary inversion, or AI as abbreviation. And the last one is going to be WH fronting, or WF for the abbreviation. So let's get started. So from the PS rule, we got something like sentence consists of NP and VP. The NP could be something like a pronoun, and the VP could be something like a V and an NP. There are actually a lot more PS rules that we have talked about, but I'm just going to use these three rules for the moment. So from these three rules, we can have something like you saw a frog, where I have S here as consisting of NP and VP. The NP is the pronoun you. The VP consists of the V, which is the verb saw, and the NP consisting of a determiner, and a noun, the frog, right? So you saw a frog is the sentence that we got from the PS rule. I'm going to call this sentence DS, or deep structure sentence. So from the DS, now I'm going to use transformation rules to get you to the SS. So let's put the DS here. You saw a frog. Let me move just a little bit so that I have some room to write the explanation. Okay, and this is the DS, or the sentence that we got from the PS rules and the lexicon. Now, if I want to turn this question from the declarative one into an interrogative one, what I'm going to do is to put the WH word what here. So that would get me to the sentence, you saw what. But in English, when we ask a question, we usually use the sentence where the question word is in the front. So what happened is that we would first get something like the so-called do insertion. So we are going to insert the auxiliary verb do, but here, since this is in the past tense, as we can see from the verb saw, the do that we are going to insert would be turned into did. So here I will get the sentence like you did from C, this would change into, from saw would be C and what. So at this stage, by inserting did in front of the verb see, it is possible by the transformation rules that we call DI. So this is one of the transformation rules. Then what happened next is that we will switch the subject of the sentence and the auxiliary. So did would goes here and you would be here, but the rest would stay the same. So I still have the verb see here and the WH word here. At this stage, it is something that is done by the so-called AI or auxiliary inversion. So at this point, we get the sentence, did you see what? Now, the last thing is to move the WH word to the front position. So the what which stay there, we'll have to move here to the front. So we would have what here at the beginning of the sentence. And then we will have did just from there and you from there and the verb see here. At this point, the rules that apply is the WH fronting or WF. And the sentence that we have at the last step here is what did you see, which is exactly the sentence at the SS or the surface structure. So from the DS here, we move to the SS. What did you see? By applying three rules altogether, the DI, AI, and WF. So if we go back to our model of generative grammar, you can see that from the deep structure, which is you saw what, we now get the sentence, what did you see, which is possible by these three transformation rules, the do insertion, the auxiliary inversion, and the WH fronting. So this is an example of how a sentence derived from the deep structure to the surface structure. So I hope you find this video helpful, and I will see you in the next one. So bye.